The Ministers of Health, Justice, Housing, Police Affairs and Power have taken turns to present the performance scorecard for the last 1 year. This was as the Ministerial Scorecard Series continued for the second day as part of celebration marking the first year anniversary of the current administration. Our correspondent Amadine Uyi tells us more.
In attendance were several cabinet ministers as part of the May 29th first year anniversary celebration.
We are here gathered today as part of the sectoral press briefings, the first, of course, of its kind that this administration has instituted, so that Nigerians will hear firsthand what the leaders are doing for them and have the opportunity to also interrogate some of those policies and programs that need to be carried.
The ministers of FCT, Youth Development, and Steel Development first gave their scorecard.
The FCT administration was assigned presidential priorities 5 and 6 out of the 9 high-impact deliverables were assigned 5 and 6. Priority 5 has to do with enhanced infrastructure and transportation as enablers of growth. And in this case, you talk about accelerate the execution of all ongoing projects, fast-track the completion of various road and infrastructure projects.
Our mission as a ministry, our expectations are clear, even though very ambitious. We aim to create an enabling environment for young people to thrive in various sectors that foster entrepreneurship, provide access to capital resources to enhance skills development, and to ensure the holistic development of young people.
We are at the final stages of raising about 35 or over 35 billion naira from a local financial institution, which is around $25 million, to be able to restart the light section mill of the complex so that we can produce iron rods. That light section mill has a capacity to produce up to 400,000 metric tons of iron rods per annum.
This was followed by the ministers of Petroleum Resources for Oil, Defense, and Solid Minerals Development.
At the time we took hold of office, we were assigned into the Ministry of Petroleum. We were doing about 1 million barrels per day. But today, I'm proud to announce to you that we are doing approximately 1.7 million barrels per day.
We were able to neutralize more than 9,300 bandits and insurgents. We have neutralized no less than 20 commanders that command armies of insurgents and terrorists.
In the year 2024 budget proposal that we submitted, we put about 200 billion. We asked for 200 billion for exploration, and that is data gathering. But because of the paucity of funds generally across board, we couldn't get anything anywhere near that at all. So, in our own lexicology, there is nothing like impossibility. So we put our own creative endeavor into motion, and we are adopting other strategies to secure funding, one of which is a PPP arrangement.
The scorecard series is expected to continue on May the 24th. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Joining me on the news to talk about this is a political analyst, Chuka Chukwudele. Good afternoon. Glad to have you join me.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Now, before I go to your assessment, let me start by asking, what are the parameters used in assessing performance of ministers?
Well, thank you for having me here. And to your question, I think the parameters used in assessing the performance of ministers, in my opinion, should be something that should be open to the public. Yeah, but in this case, in this situation, we have the president telling the ministers to assess themselves. I mean, allow ministers to evaluate their own performance actually undermines the whole objectivity of the assessment, in my opinion. And from what we're saying, I mean, it doesn't look like the president actually, I don't know, but from what we're saying, for the minister, there's no minister who will actually score himself below his mark. They will all want to give themselves high marks. But if it was left open for Nigerians as a whole to give their opinions on ministers who have been performing and the ones who have underperformed, I think it should be left for Nigerians here and not for the ministers themselves. So, yeah.
Now, talking about Nigerians, I mean, you are a Nigerian. It's 1 year in office. I'm wondering, what's your assessment of the 47 ministers?
Well, we've got some ministers who have actually done well in this last couple of months in 1 year, yeah. Like FCT Minister, Interior, Defense, Works. But for majority of most of the ministers, I mean, they actually know where to be found. So if I'm going to give a percentage and say, okay, out of all the 47 ministers, I'll say maybe just about less than 10 of them have actually done well so far. The others, I really don't know what they'll be doing. Some of them, you don't even know their names, so you look them up in the papers or on Google and hey, who's the minister of this ministry and what is this minister doing? So I really think there's a whole lot more to be done.
There's something you touched on earlier on while speaking, talking about Nigerians being able to assess these ministers. Now, the President's Special Advisor on Policy Coordination, and that's Hadiza Baba Usman, says these assessments would be a joint effort to include Nigerians through the Citizens Delivery Tracker app. What do you make of this?
Through the Citizens Delivery Tracker app, how viable is that? I recall
it was launched last month.
Yeah, I think it had something about there. Yeah, but is it out there? I mean, what is it out there for the public to access? Has there been enough information, given to the public to tell them, hey, this is how you can go about assessing these ministers and ministries and what they've done so far? I don't think that's out there in the public yet. So I really don't know what to say as to that regards.
Now, talking about including Nigerians in being able to assess, the ministers, which you hinted on, what would you recommend as a measure or solution in ensuring, these joint assessments of Nigerians themselves and also even the presidency?
Opinion polls, take it to the streets, ask the people, hey, what do you think? Opinion polls, that would be the solution to all this, hear from the mouth of the people that matter, I mean, let them tell you, hey, what do you think about these ministers? And then that's how you can get your scorecard and your ratings, and then who has been performing and who has not been performing. Yeah.
Now, in closing, I know you talked about the FCT minister. You gave kudos to him as performing well. But then, on the other hand, which of the ministers would you say should double up in their efforts or in terms of their deliverables?
Minister of Power. One. Minister of Power. Minister of Health as well. There are a lot of speculators saying he's doing well, but in my opinion, when you talk about health, the health policy in Nigeria is the right to the highest attainable level of health as a fundamental right of every Nigerian. I don't think the majority of Nigerians have access to that yet. So I think for Minister of Power and Minister of Health, those are two ministries I feel should actually sit up and do more to impress Nigerians. Yeah, that's what I think.
Well, thank you so much. We do hope they all sit up and deliver to us the dividends of a democracy. But thank you so much for your time on the news. Chuka Chukudili, political analyst, thank you once again.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.